So I've been watching a bunch of reactions to the first episode of One Piece LA because I loved the first episode, as you know, and I wanted to see what other people thought of it. And a lot of the reactors I'm watching have put up reactions from Sorta Stupid to Alicia X Life, Real Rejects, even the normies. And so I wanted to see the reactions, and you know, it's just getting me that much more hyped. So much more, in fact, that I had no plans on doing this today. In fact, I kind of almost didn't want to initially because I don't want to rush through this too fast, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like I need to see more. It's one of those things. I've said it before. One Piece is the anime of One Piece is my favorite piece of media of all time. Not just favorite anime, not just favorite animation, but favorite piece of media of all time. And so I need to see more to see how this is adapted and changed and everything. Especially with Buggy coming in. But all of that being said, yeah, I'm Connie. Welcome to Princess of Gay. We are here with episode 2 of One Piece LA. We're getting into this because I can't wait anymore. I'm just so excited. The first episode was so good. From the acting to the effects to the set design, the costuming, the wanted poster introductions. I can't wait to see what more we get. But we're heading to Orange Town. We're going to face Buggy the Clown. And if we don't see Shoo Shoo, I am going to riot. So let's get this going. When the redirect fades to black, pause this when the screen fades to black, I'm sorry, I'm too excited. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, this episode was obviously going to be Buggy and everything. Really different than I expected, though. Like, really different. And not in a bad way by any means, of course. Just definitely caught me off guard with how much it changed. Like, Moji was barely in that. Like, he was shown holding up the sign that said laugh and everything. That's literally his only role. Also, I guess Buggy did yell at him about not having the lion, which kind of sucks. I would have liked to see Richie in live action, but considering they cut out Shoo Shoo's part for the most part, at least we saw Shoo Shoo. But they cut out his part of everything and his little story in this, so... And I can understand why, like, you want to focus on the big stuff and obviously make some changes and all for the live action. So I get it, but it wasn't really that important to the arc or anything, but I still liked it. I would have liked to see it in live action. There's a lot of interesting things that they did with this. Buggy's performance, though, again, this kind of goes for everyone. All the actors have been phenomenal. Like I said in episode 1, even like the side characters actors all did a perfect job. So Buggy's actor really nailed it, though. Kabaji was great, even though his role was definitely changed quite a lot. We didn't even really get to see him fight. And it's admittedly a little disappointing that we didn't really get any good action with Kabaji versus Zoro. That would have been cool. But again, things were notably changed from the manga and anime. I like how it was kind of interspersed with the flashbacks with Shanks, especially when Luffy was in the Tank of Doom, I think Buggy called it. And you had the flashbacks showing him drowning in the sea while like interspersed with the shots of him like drowning in the tank. It's like that was just a great decision. Getting to see more of the Shanks flashbacks were fantastic in this. I like how they paced them out between these first two episodes. I think that was a good choice. Not showing it all at once, instead of just cutting back and forth to it, I think really works. Also, I like in this version that Zoro never actually declares he's going to follow Luffy. Instead, it just kind of happens. In the original manga and anime, at Shellstown, Zoro, before he's even set free from being strung up and all, he declares it's like, fine, I'll join you as long as you don't get in the way of my dream and everything. And so he agrees to be part of his crew at that point. But in this, that never happened. In fact, Zoro never really claimed to be part of his crew until, like, pretty much he was strung up there by Kabaji. He just kind of, like, he didn't even say, like, oh, he's my captain or anything. It was just more along the lines of, like, you know what, he's kind of rubbed off on me. I kind of believe in him now. But more importantly, he believes in himself, and that's kind of, you know, inspiring or whatnot. It's just so casual about it, and I kind of dig that. It's a very different feel. It's a very different feel. The Chop Chop powers, we saw that in the trailer already, and everybody was already saying, like, when the trailers came out and when they were reacting to the big first trailer, at least, which was the last one I saw, they were saying that it actually looks pretty good, and seeing it here in its full capacity and everything, it's like, yeah. Like, does some of it look goofy? Of course, but it's kind of supposed to. Like, seeing Buggy in his, like, mini form with just the hands, feet, and head, basically, it's like, oh yeah, he's supposed to look goofy as fuck in that form. That's kind of the point. It's supposed to look ridiculous. And I think they nailed that. They did fantastic, I feel, in all the effects. And the sound effects of his body popping apart and then sliding back together is really good. I just really thought it worked. Also, the way they stopped his other body parts were definitely a little different. But again, not in a bad way, necessarily. Just different. And that's the big thing about it. The first episode had a lot that was very much the same, while changing certain other parts. This episode was a lot more different. Like, I think the flashbacks were the only parts of this episode that even kind of resembled the original. The manga and the anime. Because, like, outside of just maybe, like, certain aspects of this that we recognize, like recognizing characters like Mayor Boodle, or Shushu the dog, or just, you know, Buggy and Kabaji and everything, pretty much everything else about this was so drastically different with Buggy and them. There was no Buggy Ball. That was a big difference. There was no Buggy Ball at all. Unless you count the little thing that he squeezed and had the gas come out of as a Buggy Ball, but that's not really what a Buggy Ball does. So, we saw the effects of what could be said to be a Buggy Ball, but we didn't actually see that. You know what I mean? Which was very, very different. Because that was kind of his big calling card, you could say. But, again, these changes aren't bad. They're just different. And we went into this expecting it to be different. Went into this expecting a lot of changes and all. And I'm viewing this not as just an adaptation of the material, but, like, the material being done in its own way. Being represented in a very different aspect than the manga and the anime. I guess you could kind of consider it like an AU kind of thing, an alternate universe situation to the manga and anime. And when you look at it that way, it's like, oh yeah, no issues at all. My biggest thing is, as long as it gets the core ideas and feeling and vibes and everything like that correct, they can change a lot of things and still nail it. And that's what I think they've been doing. Even the stuff with like Garp here. Garp was never here this early. I believe the stuff with Garp coming in to initially take away Axe Hand Morgan, and then when he takes in Kobe and Helmeppo to train them, I believe that doesn't actually happen until after the Straw Hats reach the Grand Line. I think that's like a cover story that happens at that point. But in the manga, but in the anime, I think that's like a couple episodes after they I want to say after they leave Reverse Mountain. I think it's like they leave Reverse Mountain and are on their way to Whiskey Peak, and then we see like a couple episodes of Kobe and Helmeppo training under Garp in the anime. But yeah, so they did this a lot earlier. Instead, we have Garp coming to Shellstown, and he does find out about Kobe's connection to Luffy. A lot of things are similar, but there's a lot of differences as well in how it's handled. Also, Morgan was free until Garp chose to like string him up and everything. That's also very different because in the manga and anime, after Morgan is defeated by Luffy, the rest of the Marines in Shellstown arrest Morgan and imprison him for his actions and all, because they were being ruled by fear. So again, there's a lot of things that are very different, but again, not bad difference, just different. I think the scenes with Garp, especially the interrogation of Kobe, were handled excellently. I also loved Garp's reaction to finding out that the Pirate of the Straw Hat was Luffy. You could see the cogs turning in his head. You could see the disappointment, the fear, the anger. You could see just all these emotions just sweep over him in the way he reacted to that. It's just like that was so good and lent so much for the future. But we also saw earlier on in the episode, once the safe is cracked, there was a wanted poster in the safe for Kuro. And that is our lead-in to the next episode. Because next episode, we are going to be going to Syrup Village. Because we need to find our liar. And I can't wait to see how this arc is done. I can't wait to see Django. I assume we're going to have Pepper, Carrot, and Onion in there, the three kids. We got to have Kaya and Mary, and of course, Captain Kuro, the former Captain Kuro, now known as the Butler Klahadore. But more than anyone else, we have to meet Usopp. And Usopp is actually surprisingly the one I am the most excited for, because from the small amount of clips I've seen of Jacob's performance as him, as well as just seeing like interviews and stuff, I am super excited to see Jacob take up this role. I think he's going to be the perfect Usopp. Usopp as a character, I think, is just criminally underrated. So many people hate on him completely unfairly, in my opinion. So I'm very excited to see his iteration here, and I hope we get some new Usopp fans with this, because we definitely need some. There needs to be more people than just myself out there who is a big fan of our sharpshooting liar. So let's see how next episode goes when we get to that. Probably, not even probably, definitely next week. Yeah, it's just I had to get to this one now. I couldn't wait. I was just so excited. I could probably marathon this, but I just don't want to. I don't want to rush through this. I have to calm myself. I have to hold myself back here. Either way, tell me your thoughts down below on episode 2 of One Piece LA. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.